Welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey, and the Cowboys right now, from ownership, coaches, players, are very clearly making a public recruitment of Odell Beckham. He wants to feel the love. He wants to know that, hey, these guys love me. They want me on this team real bad, and that will be a factor in where he ends up signing. Let's make sure we're doing that. If you want the Cowboys to sign Odell Beckham, spam OBJ in the comments section right now. Type it in multiple times, multiple comments. Flood the comments section with OBJ so we can show Odell some love ourselves. This is the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey, and as you can tell, we're talking more about Odell Beckham as the recruitment pitch continues from the Cowboys organization. This buzz is not going away. There is a very real push and interest in the way that there wasn't for, say, a Von Miller in Odell Beckham for this Cowboys team. Jerry Jones has made public comments, as we've talked about. Mike McCarthy and Cowboys players, as they have their media availability after practices on Wednesday and today, Thursday, they're making public pushes to add Beckham as well. The Cowboys are trying to show OBJ the love. Now, there's a lot of other things that are factored into this here, but the players have made it clear. They want Odell Beckham, and that's a direct quote. Ezekiel Elliott. We know what type of player Odell is. We know how explosive he can be and what he could bring to this offense. It would be great to get him down here in Dallas. He would definitely fit in this locker room. We want OBJ. That is as clear as it's going to be. One of your best players saying, we want to sign Odell Beckham. Zeke said he's friends with OBJ, that they've talked about it in the locker room. This is something the Cowboys very much want to do, and it does start to feel like a more coordinated effort, top down, to help, because Odell's going to see that Zeke says he wants him. And remember, a lot of these players, the younger guys, they grew up watching. Yes, he's 30 years old now, but Odell Beckham in his prime doing ungodly things at wide receiver. That is a factor here. Micah Parsons wants Odell Beckham. He's made that clear on Twitter and publicly in interviews. Here's what Micah said. Shit, we could use him. I think he's a great player. He's the guy that you want on the team. If the guy is on the market and somebody wants to win games, then shit, me too. I want to win games just as bad as you do. If you want to win games, come win games over here. Help us get to that bowl. The Cowboys, after not being aggressive in the offseason, there's a window. Packers, the Bucs have kind of collapsed since week one. The two teams have gone on totally different spectrums there. The Packers are not very good. The Vikings, Giants are good teams this year. Philadelphia is a good team. I'm not saying that if you sign Odell Beckham, you're guaranteed to win it. That's ridiculous and unrealistic. But he helps you. And as we'll get into, if the money's right, because that's always the thing for the Cowboys, yeah, there should be. It's not going to be $10 million, every single year beginning with this year. No, it might cost that overall, but it's not going to be this year's cap hit. It is doable for Dallas. I firmly believe the Cowboys are very much in the mix for Odell Beckham, and frankly, I'm okay calling them among the favorites. It's not the favorite. Here are my top 5 teams to watch for Odell Beckham. I think the big 3 right now, Dallas, New York, and Buffalo. San Francisco is a dark horse. The Chiefs could be in the mix. Other dark horses, Ravens, Packers, Rams now a dark horse, etc. But the Cowboys are in the mix. They are in on Odell Beckham. Now, earlier I said to type OBJ if you want them to go sign him. Do you think that they will sign him, though, is our pinned comment here. Will the Cowboys sign Odell Beckham? Y for yes, N for no. It's the pinned comment on today's video. If the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let us know. Look, I can't be more clear than this. The Cowboys' interest in signing Odell Beckham is real. This is not the agent is revving up the asking price. This is not Jerry mouthing platitudes. Now, might end up being that if they don't sign him, but they are in the mix for Odell Beckham. That is what is going on here. Now, the latest odds from BetUS look a bit different than my top 5, but that's just my opinion. You can bet on these at chatsports.com/bet when you use promo code Cowboys125. I put down $5 on Odell to the Cowboys. Bills are the favorites. I hate Green Bay as a bet, especially once the Cowboys smoke that Green Bay pack on Sunday. Cowboys plus 400, Giants plus 600, Bucks, Chiefs, Rams, Chargers, Ravens, Niners, a decent super dark horse bet there. But I put my money where my mouth is. I put them on the Cowboys. And because the Cowboys are hot right now, we're still doing the BetUS jersey deal. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code Cowboys125. Place a bet. Could be on Cowboys to beat the Packers, cover the spread, OBJ to the Cowboys. That's a bettable bet after all. They will give you a 125% deposit bonus if you put down at least $100. That's free money for you. And then we here at Chat Sports will get you guys hooked up with a Cowboys jersey. We have Dak Prescott. We have Ezekiel Elliott, and we have CeeDee Lamb. The Micah ones are already out of stock since he was the number one selling jersey this month. Crazy, right? Both the Navy and the Color Rush that we showed you. Just email us, jersey@chatsports.com, if you have any concerns, questions, if you want in on this deal. We will take care of you. We're going to need your BetUS account number, screenshot of your first bet to know that you actually did it right. Then we'll need your shipping info, drew size, all that good stuff. Just email us. It gets you in the queue, and we'll send you an email immediately with what all we need from you. Jersey@chatsports.com is the email. It's in the comments and the description. We go now more in depth on Odell Beckham. And yes, he's coming off injury again, which you got to get him in your building to know what the injury status is, but I would trust Britt Brown there. You also want to figure out what he can still bring you. And he's not going to be prime top 3 receiver Odell Beckham anymore. And the numbers have not been great. But when you look more in depth as to how things went last year before that ACL injury, which you got to check that knee and make sure it's coming along nicely for your playoff push. He was much better with the Rams. And in particular, down the stretch is where Odell Beckham started to look a little bit more like Odell Beckham. The playoff stats for OBJ. He was torching the Bengals before that ACL in the Super Bowl. He went off against the Niners. Great game against the Bucks, against the Cardinals. I'd kill for that production in the playoffs. Wouldn't you? Isn't that valuable to you once you get there, since you'll be a playoff team? And I do think receiver, and the Cowboys have admitted this with their interest in guys like Brandon Cooks, are looking for more receiver help. Odell Beckham is, in terms of the go get a bucket player, go up and snatch that football, is better than Lamb and better than Gallup. Now, Lamb's been more consistent because he's been healthy over the past couple years, but the nice part about Odell Beckham is that catch radius is insane. He's a bad ball catcher. Every quarterback would like to have that. And God forbid, knock on wood, Lamb or Gallup get hurt again, you're in trouble at receiver, as Tolbert's not making an impact for you right now. We will talk about the money side, and that's the biggest thing for me, is figuring out what the money looks like. But if and when the Cowboys do sign Odell Beckham, we will break it down for you. Shit will probably go live. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Hit that button, whether it's red or black and white on the new version, and make sure those notifications are set to all. I think the number one potential roadblock for Odell Beckham to the Cowboys, as it always is for Stephen Jones, is the money. Odell Beckham has expressed interest in a longer contract, not just doing a 1-year prove it, go cash in next offseason. He's looking for a longer-term deal, and that is very unusual to find in November for a veteran player. That doesn't really happen. Now, Odell, in many ways, is the exception to that situation. It's a question of, okay, how much does Odell Beckham want, and what else is he getting offered? The Cowboys are doing all the right things publicly with all the comments that have been made from ownership to coaches and players to show Odell the love, and maybe he takes a little bit less in that scenario. I think Odell originally wanted 5 years, $57 million. The report was from Rappaport that he wanted the Michael Gallup contract. Now, the guaranteed money is not that bad over 5 years. I don't foresee Odell getting that right now. Could he get $330? And, that would not, then $330 is kind of awkward because it's not really $330. It's, you're having half the year, so it's almost like $325, and then maybe that's a bit more doable. I don't know what Odell Beckham's going to want, and maybe there's a bidding war, but The Giants are tight on cap space. Would they be involved in a bidding war there? Maybe that isn't the end-all, be-all deciding factor there, but the money is a factor, make no mistake about it, and that's got to be sorted out. I don't have a great feel for what Odell wants at this point. Maybe it's $10 million a year on a 3-year deal. What's the guaranteed money? That has not been kind of hinted at quite yet. I think teams want to bring him in and get him in for a visit to check on that knee before they start making big-time contract offers. That just makes sense to me. Now, what is the most you would pay Odell Beckham per year, knowing this year would be very cheap for you because we're in November? What's the most you'd pay? Sound off for me in the comment section. My final thoughts are this. Later today, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb will have their typical media availability after practice for the Cowboys, and I can pretty much guarantee both players will be asked about Odell Beckham. Like, that's just doing your job for any reporter there. It'll probably be the first question asked. Not about Green Bay, about Odell. I think CeeDee Lamb's going to say, yeah, I want him. I'm very curious what Dak Prescott says publicly. Remember, he was behind the scenes recruiting Von Miller a little bit. Now, he never made that big statement publicly. That's not how Dak typically does things. I mean, you saw how much praise he had for the young guys in Jalen Tolbert when Dak did not trust him in reality. That's what ended up happening in the preseason. That's why Tolbert wasn't playing that much. It's just there was the lack of chemistry and trust there from Dak. Dak always says the right things publicly. That's kind of his whole MO. He's the good soldier. If Dak comes out and says today that he wants Odell Beckham, ooh, that might go a pretty decent ways there and really ramp up the buzz. Maybe it's just an empty platitudes of, Odell Beckham's great. I trust my coaching staff. I trust my front office to do the right things. Dak comes out and says, we want OBJ. That's a big deal. We'll see what happens later on today.